Hello everyone and welcome back to One Piece. Today we're on episodes 685, 686 and 687. We're in Dressrosa. I know in the last episodes, look, we're at the point I feel like in Dressrosa where the pace is like slowing down extra. So look, I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna guess that in these 3 episodes, there's gonna be like one big event. Like it's not gonna be like every episode has like several big events. I have a feeling, and I don't know if this is right or not, that these 3 episodes are gonna be kind of uneventful. We'll see though. You know, the thing is, I'm setting my expectations low, not because I don't like trust in the show and trust in Oda necessarily. I mean, this would be more of a Toei thing rather than an Oda thing anyway. But it's just that if I set my expectations lower, then I can be very, very happy if these end up being 3 amazing episodes, you know? But also, sometimes people just want me to make predictions, and I know this isn't exactly what they mean, but here's the prediction. I predict that these 3 episodes might be kind of uneventful, but we'll see. We will see. I'm still enjoying everything that's happening. I'm having a great time. In the last episodes, I know that we found out that Usopp was like at the top of Doflamingo's kill list, essentially. He's like the 5-star one because everyone's talking about how great Usopp is and that he saved everyone, and he's the whole reason he pretty much almost single-handedly at the end there took down the linchpin to Doflamingo's entire operation, and now everything's falling apart. So that's very cool. Also, what else happened? I'm looking at my notes right now. There was a bit of a Fujitora fight, and Pika is destroying parts of the city. I remember that. But yeah, so I think we can just jump right into the episode and see what happens. Make sure to support this video if you can, liking the video, commenting down below, and subscribing to the channel. That stuff helps me out a lot. And you can go to my Patreon account for the full-length reactions and early access, so you can get the next 20 or so episodes, which is like 3 or 4 weeks ahead, essentially, on my Patreon account right now. You can also join the YouTube membership down below to get 1 week ahead of edited videos, just right on here. You don't even have to leave YouTube, you just click the little join button down below. All of it's worth it. Otherwise, you can just stay here and support me just by commenting, saying, hey, great video, or anything along those lines, your favorite character, or things you like about the reaction, anything like that. Anyway, let's jump into this. This is 685 of One Piece. Oh, wait, One Piece, woo! Okay, recap Rubik's. If you're new to this channel, this is the recap Rubik's. It's a Rubik's Cube that I do while the recap is going on, and the goal is to beat the recap. And if you are new to this channel, thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the video. And that's the cube complete. Oh wow, oh that was, wow, okay, this episode is called, oh shit, I don't know, Pika kills everyone, Pikachu. Oh my god, jeez man. I feel like if it weren't for One Piece being pretty lighthearted, there are millions dying in this, you know? Oh my god. We will use help. Help is good. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Saiyan Boo. Yes! I love this guy. You're gonna get exploded. Yeah! Oh my gosh. Damn, man. He doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. We know giants have lots of pride and spirit. Especially Elbaf warriors. There's Cavendish. Yep. Why don't you just join our crew? Then you'll be, you know, you'll be well known. It was short-lived. Whoa! Sick! That was awesome. Just seeing like a shot like that shows you how crazy the scale of One Piece characters is. This is gonna be this whole fucking episode, isn't it? Like, this was already the last 2 episodes or whatever. What, can you not see where all the commotion is coming from, dude? Oh my god. Can we get something sea prism stone related? I'll write down a theory. Jesus, man, the entire city is just being fucked up. Nah, he'll be right. Is he running up the side? He's running up the side of Pika? He's laughing the whole way. Is he laughing at the voice? Oh no, he's just excited. Moosey's really into it. How are you running on like the underside of the arm? There's no way the arm's big enough to have its own gravity. Great. Why do we have like 2 of the worst for the Colosseum characters with us? There's a lot of cool Colosseum characters we could have. But is he gonna hit himself? 3rd gear. Yeah, thought so. Uh-huh. What are you going for? The face? You're going right for the face? Oh! Just jumped off it. Nice. Yeah! It's pretty sick. I mean, he can just reform. But I do feel like there's a finite amount of, like, cracking this stone up makes it more difficult. But there's just so much stone that it kind of doesn't matter, maybe. Mm-hmm. You don't have to salute. He couldn't see you even if you were standing in front of him. Okay, okay, okay. Take some action. I want you to take action. You're very cool when you take action. I want Kyrus and Rebecca to reunite. Man, her net is so dope. The fact that they just have to carry him all the way up. Yeah, you're holding hands with her, basically. Oh! Fuck off! Can you, like, break some of the net, Robin? How much control do you have? It might be very difficult to, like, focus on that. No, fuck off. Yes. Oh, cool. I thought she was going to use the hands that are there to slap. Yes, Robin. Well, now drop it. It's so good. Aww. I love mischievous Robin, like when she does something like that and she knows that she did something naughty. It's great. Is Zoro gonna be like, just punching the head off doesn't work? Can you observation haki it? Come on. Come on. Oh. Oh, come on, Zoro. I mean, there he is. Okay, well, I mean, it doesn't take observation haki to see it when he's coming up in front of you. That's right, so he's Spade. I was calling him Club. Yes, it is. I wonder why he's even bothering showing himself in real form. The bull's like, I didn't fucking sign up for this. Zoro can stop this, right? Zoro! Whoa, what the fuck? The fact that Luffy's carrying the bull on his back is very funny. Yes! I love this music. I mean, we've seen this happen before. This time, take care of him, Zoro. If he escapes you again, you're off the Straw Hats. Nice. Okay, not a crazy amount to discuss in this episode. I mean, as I said, I expected it, so I'm not that disappointed because I expected it to be very slow. But I have a theory, but I don't think that theory is going to play out anymore. Here was my theory, right? Pika has been shown to be like reckless when he is fucking angry, right? When he's upset, when he's being trolled, essentially. He's been shown to get frustrated and just like, you know, just attack without thinking. So I thought, you know, they also made a big deal of the fact that the factory is made completely out of sea prism stone, right? And we need to be able to take out Pika, and the factory is made of sea prism stone. So I thought maybe what we could do is like we could lead Pika to where the factory is and then have Pika punch at us, and then like hopefully he'd just punch into the factory, and one of two things would happen. Either he punches the factory, sea prism stone, it fucks him up, and Pika, you know, fucks himself over. Or he punches the factory and he can break through it. And if that happens, then we've broken into the factory, you know? So that's like, it's a win-win no matter what happens. The reason I say that is because I don't actually know how it would interact. We know it's sea prism stone, but like, so it feels like what Pika can do is like control stone, right? If that's the case, is the stone even technically his body? I don't think so. I don't think the stone counts as his body. I don't think this is... I actually wonder, is this like... Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like, does he turn into the stone? I don't think he does. I think he just he can control the stone, so he makes a you know, an Iron Man suit out of stone essentially, and does it from there. But I mean, I guess we've seen him sort of like meld into the stone. I guess it depends on how you interpret that. But the reason I'm saying that is because if he was to punch a Sea Prism Stone thing, like, does that count as his hand touching Sea Prism Stone, and then will he get weakened from that? Or is it like, when he's punching it, he's technically, like, his arm's technically back here, and there's just a fuck ton of stone between. So he's not actually touching Sea Prism Stone. He's using his power to push something that hits against the Sea Prism Stone with a lot of force. I don't know which of those it would be. It reminds me of Frieren. In Frieren, for those of you who don't watch it, it's an incredible magic fantasy anime. And in it, there's a really, really interesting like magic explanation they did at some point, where like, I love the way Frieren is written, because I think there's some brilliant magic just ideas in there. But one of them is the idea that, like, defensive magic is very specifically tuned to, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, I can't remember if this is exactly what it is, but defensive magic is very tuned to defending against offensive magic, right? Because, like, we want to make a complex defensive magic thing, and so we just make it as efficient as possible to stop offensive magic. And so as offensive magic evolved, so did defensive magic, and it, you know, it gets to the point where, you know, if you can put up barriers to stop offensive magic, right? But the way that you can counter that with offensive magic is, instead of attacking people with the offensive magic, you use the offensive magic to then control physical things, which then attack them. Because the defensive magic is going to be less effective against physical stuff as it is against magic, which it was designed to repel. So it's a really cool idea where it's like, instead of using my magic that's just straight up kill magic, that if it touches you, it kills you, right? Instead of using that to shoot at you, if I do that, I'm just wasting my mana, like, shooting at you constantly, and it's just bouncing off your barrier. But if instead I use magic to create these stone walls and then have them crumble on top of you, if you try to put up a shield, the shield isn't created to stop rocks, it's created to stop magic. So rocks falling on it, like, it might block a bit of it, but it's gonna be way more effective, and it might break your shield, and then you're actually getting hurt because it's going through your defensive magic. So I always thought that was a really interesting thing. And I guess what I'm saying here is, like, if people use their devil fruit powers to control stone or whatever, and then use that stone to hit Sea Prism Stone, I feel like that would probably work against Sea Prism Stone, I would think. I don't think Sea Prism Stone stops anything that was affected by Devil's Fruit. It just weakens Devil's Fruit users, I think. So, like, it's still incredibly strong stone. We've seen that, right? Devil's Fruit, Sea Prism Stone is already just very, very strong. But I wonder if Pika could punch the factory and take it down, you know? Anyway, that's my theory right now. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen anymore because Zoro sort of stayed behind. I think it's possible now Zoro versus Pika is just something that's gonna continue on where they are. But it's, you know, it's something to talk about in this discussion since not really much happened. Alright, let's move on to the next episode. This is episode 686 of One Piece. Here we go. Okay, recap Rubik's. Here we go. And that's the cube complete. Okay, this episode is gonna be called A Shocking Return. Someone returns from the dead? I don't know who it could be, but hey, sometimes you gotta throw a Hail Mary. Yeah, go for it. Oh my god. I mean, this is true of giants in basically any show, but I feel like his size is super inconsistent. Yeah, come on, Fujitora, do some cool shit. Yeah, you gotta deal with them. He's basically an army in itself. That's pretty fun. Oh my god. I almost forgot Frankie was a factor. Hell yeah, man. Damn. Damn. I wanted to see how much it affected the factory. Damn it. Like, I wanted to see, does it? Because we know the beam is really fucking strong. Oh. I'm not gonna kill you. Let me through. I mean, you can fight with the cover on your sword. You can just knock him out with it. This is like an iPhone game. He'll be right. Yeah, I mean, he didn't lose against Pika before. Pika had to run away eventually, you know? Oh my god, the sounds. Cool shot. Oh yeah, that's cool. That animation was nice. What's Law thinking? Oh, we might hear what he's thinking. Okay, good. Get some revenge. Can we get some proper lore? L-O-R-E? L-A-W-L-O-R-E? Lore? What are we looking at? Corazon. He did talk about Cora before. Oh. Doflamingo's father? What? Oh, younger brother. Okay. The only reason I said father is because he did say he killed his own father. Luffy senpai! He's not under there. Everyone's just sitting around. Yay. Oh, so cute. And then the Tontad is just crawling all over them. Look how satisfied Robin is. Yep, the government were supporting Doflamingo, if anything. But he's not gonna be able to do anything else, just so you know. He's just gonna lie here. This is nice. That would be awesome. Honestly, Bart would be useful. So sweet. Yes, he is. Nice. Very cool. Well, I want to go back to what Law was saying back when he was talking about his friend that died. I want to see exactly what he said about it. Okay, yeah, so 13 years ago, there was a person I adored and Doflamingo killed him. His name is Corazon, the former top executive of the Doflamingo family. He also saved my life and was Doflamingo's younger brother. Okay, so, all right. Well, that's very interesting. And that tells me, I think, that we're probably going to see a flashback of that at some point, like a proper flashback, I would imagine. Because like, it feels like that, like, I feel like Oda doesn't tend to allude to something in the past and then not ever show it. I feel like pretty much every time that Oda has, like, alluded to something and, like, shown us, like, a clip of something in the past, he's also then shown us a flashback of it later, which, like, is good because Oda is very good at flashbacks. So I'm sure it will be solid and great. But also, like, sometimes I almost wish that he just alluded to something and then we got to just, like, speculate on what it is but didn't get it confirmed, you know? Like, I think it would be kind of nice to see just, like, a, you know, or, like, just a 30-second flashback. I mean, he sometimes does that. It's just very rare, I feel like. A lot of the time when there's a flashback, he kind of goes all out on it and does, like, a proper full telling of the story. When I feel like sometimes we don't need a full telling of the story. Sometimes we do, for sure. Sometimes I think you could just give us, you know, 30 seconds of it and I'll be happy. I'll be like, well, that was a great little flashback to see. Anyway, move on with the show. But yeah, so it's Doflamingo's younger brother named Corazon. Law has mentioned Corazon, I think, a couple times before. And I remember it was actually earlier today, I think, I saw, I think I just saw a part of my own video where I mentioned it, and I, like, tried to internalize it and go, like, okay, I gotta remember Cora, I gotta remember, because I don't want to, like, have the name Cora appear again and me go, like, Cora? Who's that? Like, have we ever heard that name before? Because sometimes that's gonna happen. Like, when something very briefly gets mentioned, then you, like, don't think about it for a while, and then it very briefly gets mentioned again. I've completely forgotten about the last time it was mentioned, and that happens a lot in One Piece. I feel like it happens a lot in a lot of shows, but One Piece is such a long show, and Oda loves doing those little hints, and it's really cool because it means when you rewatch the show, it's like, holy shit, they were talking about this back then, you know? Like, in like, now that we're in this arc, I like can go back to the archipelago arc where there's, like, the slave auction going on, and in that scene, Doflamingo is talking on the snail phone or whatever, and he's like, yeah, I don't care about this operation anymore. It's like, I don't really care about the slaves anymore. All I care about, like, everything's about smiles now. It's all about smiles. And at the time, it's like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, what's that mean? You know, everything's about smiles. But now we see, now that we're in the Dressrosa arc, we see what smile means. So, but that was set up, you know, back in the archipelago, which is what, episode, I'm gonna guess in the 300s or 400s, somewhere around there. So that was, you know, ages ago that he was setting up, that Oda was setting up this storyline. So Oda loves to put those little lines in there. But the disadvantage of it is that I forget, because I'm fucking dumb. And some, like, also, I mean, a lot of people would forget. And when you're watching by yourself, you don't notice how much you forget, I feel like. Like, I watch shows by myself occasionally, you know? Not everything that I watch is something that I watch on the channel. And you know, you miss stuff, but it's fine. You miss stuff, you move to the next episode and you figure it out, and it comes together, or if I'm really confused, I might rewatch stuff or like look something up or something, you know? But I don't have the luxury of doing any of that in here. And like, I mean, I'll rewind stuff and rewatch scenes, but sometimes you don't know that you've missed something. You think you've gotten everything. And when you're doing it on a YouTube channel and you got all these people watching you and they are specifically watching to see if you picked up on a hint that was thrown down. Like they are watching you specifically to see what your reaction to that is. And I don't blame you for doing that. I do the same thing when I watch reaction YouTubers. That's part of why we're watching reaction YouTubers. We want to see the hint, and then we want to see the person if they picked up on the hint. So when I don't pick up on the hint, I get lots of comments that's like, you didn't pick up on this? So it's like, it makes it feel, I think that's one of the things is like when you're doing these reaction videos, when you're making them, it makes you feel like you miss so much stuff and that you're wrong about so much and you never understand anything that's going on. But really, I think I'm understanding, I would say, and I'm going to give myself a bit of credit here, I would say I'm understanding slightly above average of the average viewer. Like, I think that's fair to say. And I'm not saying the average fanatic, I'm saying the average viewer, the person who watches the show once, and they pay attention. Like, I'm not talking about people who are on their phones while watching, or people who, like, skip every third episode or whatever when they get bored. But just, you know, the average viewer who just goes, oh, I'm going to watch some One Piece, sits down, clicks play, watches it, stops watching, moves to the next episode. That viewer, I think I'm slightly above average on that, and that's because I watch it, I try to focus really hard, I take notes, I discuss what happened, and I have you wonderful people who often help me out with things that I don't understand, because sometimes there is stuff that I genuinely either don't get, or I have a different interpretation of it, but then, you know, people will give me their own interpretations of it. I recently had this in one of the videos where I was talking about, and I mean, this is kind of, you know, me re-stepping into an old discussion that I did, but I was talking about at some point Frankie said to Luffy over the snail phone, like, Luffy, I don't care what you say, even if you told me not to go, I'm going because I want to help these people. And I was saying in that episode, from memory, and I haven't gone and rewatched my discussion, but from what I remember saying was, it's interesting that, like, I understand why Luffy's all for Frankie saying that, but it's interesting that there's, like, that you could say Usopp did that back in the, in Water 7 arc, and Zoro said to everyone, don't fucking do that, don't undermine the captain. Like, you can't go against what Luffy says, otherwise what's the point of having a captain? I was talking about that, and you should go watch my discussion on that, because I think what I was saying was a bit more nuanced than what I just recapped. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because I got a lot of different people, or maybe not a lot, but a few different people giving their own interpretations of why they think it's fine and why they don't think that's necessarily the same thing. And it's like, when I'm reading those comments, it's really interesting because you guys are very knowledgeable on the show, and also you have the advantage of you've either watched it several times, or you have the context of later in the show, or you've watched other reaction YouTubers do this, or you have time to stew on it a bit more. But there's some very thoughtful comments in my YouTube comments, and a lot of One Piece YouTubers' YouTube comments. But a lot of the comments, you know, I was reading them and I was like, yeah, that's a decent point, but nothing was really, like, convincing me that it was like a fully different thing. But then one commenter, and I forgive me for not remembering their name, but it's on that video. You can see the comment, and I replied to it. That said a bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna butcher what they said if I tried to repeat most of it. But like what stood out to me was there was a section that was like, the difference was that Usopp was making comments about how Luffy doesn't care about people and is leaving the weak ones behind and stuff. Like, that's the point at which he crossed the line and where he was like overstepping, and that's what Zoro was talking about with the disrespect of the captain. Like, it's one thing to disagree with your captain, and it's another thing to disrespect your captain while disagreeing. And that was the moment where I went, that's what I was missing. That's the bit that I needed to read. So all this to say, while watching this show, I have my own interpretations of things, and I feel like I have a pretty solid grasp on a lot of the stuff. But at the same time, while doing reaction videos, everything that I say, there's a thousand, people who are replying to the things that I say and will have their own interpretations, and they'll be telling me why they think I'm wrong. Even if, I don't necessarily agree with a decent amount of those comments, sometimes, some of those will come through that I'll be like, oh, that's made it click for me. That's made me understand. And that happening a bunch of times over the course of this channel, I feel like has made me understand the show more and more, So yeah, like, it sucks how much people disagree with me sometimes, because I like when people agree with me. I like when I put out statements and people are like, yeah, I agree with this, and then they expand on that. That feels really good, and I love that. And keep those comments coming. If you ever like just agree with stuff that I say, comment it. Tell me that you agree with stuff that I say, because I really appreciate that. I like when people do that. But at the same time, the people that don't agree with what I say, I do read your comments and I try to take them in, and even though I'm not always going to agree with you, as long as you're nice about it, I will try to take it on board, and I will genuinely consider it. If you're like, what, you're not paying attention to the show at all, or you're an idiot because, or like, oh, you don't understand anything that's happening at all, or maybe if you stop talking so much, if any of that stuff is in your comment, you don't have a point. I'm sorry. Because like, clearly you're not really like emotionally intelligent enough to have this conversation with me. I'm a person, so I'm trying to respect you, and you're trying to respect me. If you're not respecting me like straight from the get-go, then I'm not going to listen to your opinion. I don't care about your opinion, because you're not the kind of person that I think is going to have great opinions if that's how you start a comment. So just a little tip for commenting. But most of you guys are great, like really great. So keep them coming. And I also just want to say, I mean, while we're talking about the episode, let's go back to the episode discussion. In this episode, they talked a decent amount about like why these people are trusting the Straw Hats when the Straw Hats are pirates. Like, why are you trusting pirates when there's like the Navy here? Why do you think that they're going to be able to do it? And I liked what everyone was saying about it. And I think it was it Violet that was talking about how like the Navy have turned their back on these people for so long, and even gone against these people, even like not just turned a blind eye, but actually like have given power to the person who hurt these people so much. The Navy are fuckheads. Like, we can't trust in them, and if we can't trust in them, let's trust in pirates. Like, it makes a lot of sense, honestly, and it really makes the themes of this show hit harder with like the ideas of like, oh, we're following pirates, they're not technically the good guys. I remember, before I started watching this show, that was something that I wasn't fully wrapping my head around while doing like OP reactions to it, was like, we're following pirates, they're not the good guys, but they're good people. And like, but while watching the show, it just feels like it so intuitively makes perfect sense. And it's like, you can see that the Marines you know why they're flawed, you know how they got to the point that they got to, and you can see the decision making that led them to that point. Like, it didn't just, they didn't just decide to be evil, and it's not just like randomly they want to hurt people or whatever. They genuinely do come from a place of wanting to govern properly, but there's so many corrupt links along the way that it's poisoned the well so much, and then as you get down to the bottom, it's like pretty fucked up. So Oda, I think, does a great job at showing like why the Straw Hats are necessary, like why you would follow them, why they are the good guys in these situations, despite them not necessarily trying to be heroes. It's really cool. It's really great. All right. Once again, pretty long discussion for an episode that didn't have that much to discuss about it, but that's what happens when I yap. All right, let's move on to episode 687, the last episode we're doing in this video. Here we go. What? What? There's a new OP! Okay. Oh, I so wasn't ready for this. Oh my god, this is a very different kind of song. I guess it's similar to the remix of We Are they did at some point. I like them all holding on there. Oh, you got all of them doing their abilities. I love shots like this. I always really enjoy shots like that. MHA does it in like every OP, but so many anime do it. It's cute that Shirahoshi's there. I don't know why the Fisherman Island characters are there. Okay, that's an alright OP. Ask me how I feel about it in 10 to 12 episodes, because that's the type of OP that, like, I could love it or hate it in 10 or 12 episodes. Interestingly though, I feel like I've never seen that before. But I did an OP reaction video at some point. I would have had to have seen it. But I remember 0% of that. 0. Okay, recap Rubik's. Here we go. Alright, and that's the cube complete. There we go. Okay, this episode, well, I saw Sabo on there. This episode is going to be called Sabo vs. Doflamingo. A surprising matchup. I'm getting lazy with these titles. I like how even him just groaning is G. Yeah, you really got to be scared of them. This is their only problem, is that they got to get in each other's way. Hey! Fuck him up! Yeah, go kill some people, motherfucker. I like a horse running on like a 180-degree angle. It's very funny. Actually, 180 degree would be that 90-degree angle. It's so cool. Also, so destructive. You're probably doing a lot of friendly fire with every punch. Although, speaking of friendly fire, if Cavendish loses control of his alter ego at any point, everyone's dead. I feel like Cavendish is constantly like pushing them forward. Like they fight a bit, but then Cavendish moves forward. Yeah, see, I mean, they were fighting, and then Cavendish spurred them on, and now they're chasing after him. Oh, shit. It's Sabo and Fujitora. I should have said Sabo vs Fujitora for the title. That's so dope, Sabo, to stand up to Fujitora. if need be. Is my job as a brother? Yep. Don't worry about it. Oh my god! Do you get clearance to fire, my man? Yeah, baby. I genuinely almost forgot that he had the flare fruit. Oh my god, these guys are just not listening to their commander. Yeah, keep firing into the low gear fruit, guys. Well trained. Oh my gosh. Oh! Oh my gosh. Yeah, he does. They're claws. Like dragon claws? Is that the implication? So it seems like Sabo, whoa, was probably immensely powerful before the flare fruit. So he's got to be fucking up there now. Damn. Exactly. It was basically because of Doflamingo that we got that fruit. He could have just had it for one of his members. Okay. Did he just dodge that? Oh my gosh. That's pretty legit. Is that a sea prism stone weapon? I wouldn't be surprised, you know, like smokers. Oh! Like, I think Vice Admirals have some cool fucking weapons. Huh? Yeah, thought so! He really is trained like a dragon. How do you even... Oh yeah, I guess I can do that. It's pretty insane though. Damn, he just grabbed onto it like that. I guess it probably wasn't Sea Prism Stone. Otherwise he'd be weakened when he grabbed it. Oh my god! Okay, he's just gonna break the mask. Jesus though. Oh, yep. Fujitora's bringing a meteor down on you. Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that. Oh my gosh. I think it's consistent with Fujitora's character that he doesn't think through his moves all the time. Whoa. What how did that, what was that? What the fuck? Okay, so it's just Sabo holding it. I thought for a second Bastille got burned to dust. I thought that was the implication for a moment. Yeah, Sabo really hasn't done much. You're damn right. Aww. And that was at the 3D 2Y movie right there. Yeah, it's a pretty insane set of 3. Oh. Oh. That's really sad to see. But I actually want to see more of that scene. Just a little bit. Oh shit. Oh hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh my god. Is Sabo strong enough? I really don't know. Awesome. Okay, nice episode to end out the 3. Like with 3 episodes that like were, you know, the first 2 episodes being quite uneventful. At least the 3rd episode we get like a really cool Sabo Fujitora episode that we can like really sink our teeth into, because I enjoyed that. I liked seeing Sabo fight with his new powers. I liked seeing Fujitora's reaction to the situation and like trying to figure out whose brother he was, and like figuring out, okay, so this is another person who claims to be Ace's brother. So there are 3 really, well, there were until Ace died, 3 really dangerous people out there who all were brothers. And now we're only just realizing how dangerous they are. That was a cool little scene. I really enjoyed that. So before Sabo got the flare fruit, he was still like, I mean, he was still number 2 of the Revolutionary Army, right? So he was still trained probably to be a fucking badass fighter, right? We saw some of his fighting in the tournament. He was a pretty badass fighter. So if he could hold his own against Devil Fruit users, which I imagine he could without powers, I mean, he had pretty incredible haki from memory. Then with powers, he's like bonkers. He's absolutely insane. But I do wonder, like at the end here, you know, they go up against each other. It's possible Sabo still loses because, you know, even though I feel like he's got an incredibly powerful fruit and he's trained really well, he's not trained with the fruit at all yet. So he's still not used to it. He still doesn't know exactly what he can do. It's still not second nature to him yet. So it is possible that he isn't quite there yet enough to be able to defeat Fujitora. Maybe. I don't know. But that's kind of my guess right now. But yeah, I mean, regardless, like, really cool battle. We had a new OP in this episode, by the way, which is pretty insane because so like, you know, you might be able to tell from my clothes and stuff, but the previous episode was recorded, or the previous 2 episodes in this video were recorded yesterday, and then today it's a new day when I recorded this, right? And it was just like, I had one more episode to record, and so I was like, okay, I'll do it now. It's like pretty late at night right now, but I was like, I'll do it now before I go to bed. And then I sat down, I like set everything up, I just like kind of lazily clicked start recording, and then clicked play, and then a new song played. I went, I didn't know we were due for a new OP, especially since we haven't had the new visuals of the new OP for that long, have we? It doesn't feel like we've had them for that long. So I wasn't expecting a new OP. But also what threw me off was just the fact that, like, since it was like I just sat down and I clicked on the episode, I was like, is it possible I clicked on the wrong episode? And maybe I'm about to watch episode, you know, 1000 and something. So I kind of was worried there for a second. Even though while I was looking at the visuals, I was like, this looks like the right visuals for the arc. And so I had to double check that I was on the right episode. But the other part about that is those people who don't know, on my main Gent Watches channel, before I started watching One Piece, so this would have been like 2 years ago at this point, I did a video where I was like, I'm going to react to all of the One Piece openings. And I did. I reacted to all the One Piece openings at the time. This was before I knew much about One Piece. You know, like I knew stuff about One Piece through osmosis, but I wasn't like an expert on One Piece, and I didn't I didn't know a lot of the character names, and I didn't really know the main storyline of what it's about and stuff. So I didn't know what to expect going into it. I watched all those OPs, and since then, when I started watching One Piece, I've had varying levels of recollection when each OP comes up. And sometimes it'll be like, oh, I kind of remember this song. And sometimes it'll be like, oh, I remember that visual or a couple of these visuals or whatever, right? Generally, it's like one or the other. So like for the previous OP, I remembered the song because I've heard the song a lot on Bang Dream Girls Band Party because I've heard a cover of the song a lot. And I also remembered the visuals of the Straw Hats or like Luffy and stuff chasing the bug around the ship. Like that specific visual was something I had like in my head and I remembered very clearly. So it was like I knew going into it some of the things about that opening. This opening that we just watched, I didn't recognize a single thing. I didn't recognize the song in the slightest, and I didn't recognize the visuals in the slightest. So much so that I'm like, did I even watch it? I don't know. So it's gonna be funny because when I already did a reaction video to my reaction video to the first half of the OPs, right? And you can find that on this channel somewhere, where I reacted to my reaction video to like sort of see how much my knowledge of One Piece has changed over time and like what I thought about the openings originally and what I think about them now. So I already did that, but obviously when I get closer to catching up to the show, I want to do that video again for the second half of the OPs. And I'm really curious to see if like what my initial reaction to that was and why I don't remember it, you know? Like, did I just watch it and then I went like, okay, that was fine, moving along, you know? Like, did I not say much about it? I have no idea. Yeah, I'm trying to think, was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Well, let me check my notes. That's the main way I find out if there's something I want to talk about. Oh yeah, just another like final little detail that I like is I think Fujitora, just in general, a character trait of his is he doesn't think through his attacks. And I really like that character trait where it's like he will do an attack and then afterwards he'll go, oh, actually that might have fucked us, which I really enjoy because like I talked about it in a previous video because at some point earlier in the sort of like, I think it was in the Doflamingo Straw Hat fight, when Doflamingo was trying to kill some of the Straw Hats, and he did something where he was firing at them or aiming at them with the cannon, but then he brought down meteors or something, and then they did something to like make it so that the meteors came down and hit the cannons or whatever. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was like basically he didn't take into account Law's power or something, and he just like Fujitora's action actually kind of fucked them. And I said in that episode and in that discussion, I really like that he made a mistake there because it's so often in TV shows like the cool character like that, they won't make mistakes. They won't, like, there's no attack that they didn't think through at least a little bit. But that was genuinely like he just straight up didn't think about it. He wasn't he was just like, I'm going to attack them now, and he attacked them with several things, and it's like, well, if you just attacked them normally with one of those things, you would have won. You would have beat them, but you didn't. You just like kind of mindlessly button mashed essentially. And I like that now I found out that's a consistent thing in his character. It's not just like a one-off event that happened. It's actually his character doesn't think things through, because he did it again with the meteor where he was like bringing down the meteor, and then as it was coming down he was like, oh shit, I forgot about the bird cage. The bird cage is going to cut that shit up, and it did, and it made the attack less effective and more, I think, like overall destructive. Like it becomes less of a pinpoint kill this one guy attack and more of a scatter damage everywhere attack, which is great for destroying a city, but he's not trying to destroy Dressrosa. He was trying to take down Sabo, or at least show off his power to Sabo, but either way it kind of failed. So Yeah, great stuff. Anyway, that is One Piece episodes 685 to 687. Thank you for joining me. Make sure to support this video if you can, liking the video, commenting down below, and subscribing to the channel. Go to my Patreon account if you want the full-length reaction, early access, and exclusive videos. You can get the next 20 or so episodes on my Patreon account now. You can also join my YouTube membership below to get 1 week early of edited videos. So the next 7 episodes on YouTube right now. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.